Well, good afternoon, or good morning, I should say, rather. We're going to try this again. So we've got everything streaming on here, it looks like. It's got a awful delay, but we'll just have to live with that for now. Alright, so I know it's coming through there. Okay. Okay. Got everything streaming on here, it looks like. It's got a awful delay, but we'll just have to live with that for now. So I know it's coming through there. Alright, so we've got a couple things going on here today. One, we're going from Las Vegas to Ontario, California. American Airlines Flight 714, which is my VA call sign. KLAS KONT. But we've got a new addition. Flight Simulator Center sent me a couple of captain and first officer oxygen masks. So whereas these oxygen mask boxes down here are typically just faux, just completely fake, they actually have working mask in them. And I say working mask in the context that the masks themselves don't produce oxygen, obviously, because we're talking a simulator here, but the microphones actually work. So if you don the mask, you can still talk to VATSIM through the mask, and that works. So hopefully we'll have some VATSIM before we get going here. So hang with me here, and we'll get going. See if we have any ATC for one. Oxygen mask boxes down here are typically just faux. I'm going to turn down this audio so that I don't have to listen to myself repeat everything I just said. Alright, so we have our checklist here. I'm going to go through. Tim and I have been working on flows and checklists for a world flight, and so one of the things that I have here is one of the VAs that I fly for has some pretty thorough checklist and flows. One for the captain, one for the FO, and typically the FO tends to do the majority of the work on a startup, but since I'm a single pilot today, we've got to do the bulk of it. So I'm just going to go through this as I normally would. May not call off everything, I may try to. We'll see how it goes. Let's get some light on the subject here. We have a dome light in the back, which helps. Turn all these off. And I think the images are good for now. I'm hoping you guys can, we can see one another as we're flying. The whole impetus of this camera here is to allow you guys, for me to communicate with you guys on a more personal basis instead of looking at the back of my head the whole time. So I may have to adjust that a little bit so that we actually get a view in there. Yeah, okay. Didn't think you guys want to look at me the whole time, so that's why I kind of have it off to the side. Let's see. Trying to get an idea on the image. Yeah, I guess in flight mode it would be okay, so let me know if that needs to be adjusted a bit. Let's see. Comments. Alright, I'll leave those up so we can discuss. Alright, so let's get going on. So landing gear pins, we have those, flashlights, circuit breakers. Obviously our battery is already on since we got in here. Fuel panels, we're going to leave the forward left side, forward aft pumps on, or excuse me, number one forward pumps on, fuel pumps. Hydraulic pumps are off for now. Air conditioning panel is all set to normal. Landing gear lever is down and 3 greens indicated there and above on the overhead. Fire warnings. Let's do a test on that. Alright, we got 3 lights in op. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 is the bell. Alright, AC meter, we got that set to ground check. Ground power is on, confirmed. APU switch, we can go to start, but I don't want to do it just yet because I want to try to get a joint AVA flight in here as well. So let's pause right there on the flow sheets for just a moment. And let's see if we can get that going here. Joint AVA. So what I'm doing, I'm going to launch the ACARS program that Joint AVA uses. And then just create a flight. So, I'm going to skip that and we're going to go straight to the loading. Yep, there we go. Alright, so I need to... Let's pull this up here. You guys can see it a little bit better, hopefully, as well as I can see it better. Right tracking is disconnected. So what we're going to do here, we have a flight already set up in SimBrief. So let me go back over here to SimBrief. This way you guys can follow along with me. Okay. SimBrief. I'm kind of pausing for a moment. I'm watching the delay to make sure that this thing is coming through. Okay, so it's working. Right, so we can close that. I'm just going to edit this flight real quick because I want to get this updated. I want to use current time. No, this is going to be KONT. Okay. And the aircraft is 737-800. It is the ProSim variant. That looks good. We have the current time 1710. That's right. It's 1638 currently, so we'll go ahead and run that one. And then I should be able to open this up with the ACARS program and create it, import it from SimBrief, and it did, so that's good. And we're going to select the 737 variant, which anyone will be fine, and we will create that, and there we go. And so now I can view this on the map. That looks good. And then if we go to here, it shows that we're boarding, so good. Alright, so we're good to go, and I'll leave that up there for the time being while we finish with our flows. Alright, so we'll continue on. This has automatically loaded our fuel, and that will come in when we continue doing our test here, but we've already done our fire test, so we're good there. We could start the APU. I want to go ahead and do ground proximity warning, GPWS test as well.
Wind shear. Sink rate.
That's cargo fire test. And we're going to do a weather radar test. Now I am running FS Active Sky for Flight Simulator, so that's if we have any weather, which may not. SoCal.
Wind shear ahead.
Alright, so we're going to pass on the starting the APU for the moment. Already got the ARSs set for alignment, so they're good to go. Electrical panel is set. Emergency exit light switch is armed. Environmental controls are set. We're good there. CDUs, checked FMC configuration, enter present position. So let's go ahead and finish with that. Alright, so nav database is good, July 10th through August the 6th. Engine rating 26K. Nav data is 2507, which is the current. We are going to set for KLAS as our departure airport. We're going to set GPS left position as I preferred, which doesn't look like I need it here. And request. Okay, so this was one of the issues I was having earlier. So we'll hit route and we'll hit load. Okay, good, it worked that time. So was having some issues with that earlier, so that's good. So the FMC on the FO side, I'm going to clear that, and we're just going to put that in progress for now. Or actually, sorry about that. Spam risk. That's my other girlfriend that keeps calling, so my wife said. Alright, so we're gonna, that's done. We're gonna remove this disco out of here, execute that. And let's look at our request our performance data. And load it. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Let's take a little view of our OFP here. Alright, takeoff weight 174, estimated 131, that's right, 131.5 it's showing. Fuel's 8.1, block fuel's 8.030, so that's good. Zero fuel weight's 123, that works. Flight level 280, that's probably kind of high, but we'll adjust that later if we need to. ISO deviation is, that's interesting. So as you can see on the captain's CDU, it's showing the ISO deviation is 14C. We'll check that later at 18,000. Let's see, performance request we did, cost index 30. Don't need anything there. Clear here. Let's go to why I was questioning that deviation, because I wanted to see something here on the takeoff performance. 8 left. Interesting. Let's see what the weather is here. KLAS. Winds are variable at 3. Altimeter's 29er, 89er. 29er, 89er. Set that while we have it. So 1556. So variable at 3 knots, 10 statute miles, few clouds of 15,000. Temps 36, dew points 8. Why are we doing an 8 departure? I'd rather go 2.6. Let's change that to 2.6 right. And calculate. Alright, so the select temperature is 42, so that doesn't matter. Okay, oh nice. I'm replying back to Carlo at FSC. He said they're working on, looks like they're modifying this TQ. The currently ineffective. Alright, I was just thanking him. He's working on a gate fix for this, so that's good to hear. Alright, so let's go back to where we were. So we got our request here. Let's go departures is going to be 26 right. What did we have here? I may need to rerun this just, yeah, because he's got this. Let's change that. We're going to edit this. We have no ATC currently in Vegas, so, and with the variable winds, I'm going to set my departure runway for 26 right. Do you want to select new SID and stars? Yes. And let's generate. Alright, so that's going to change my OFP, so we'll see what that's going to do. I may need to redo the perfs, but that's fine. Okay, so let's look at the OFP and see if that's changed. And it has. So let's do this. Erase that. Let's go back index. Route. Request this again. So that'll change our fuel requirements. Okay, so we'll clear this out. And load that. Yeah, so it didn't really change it much. Reserves 2.3. Yep, 2.3. Block fuel 7.8, and I still have 8.1. So less fuel is required. It's showing 130.8. I've got 131.5, so I'm good with that. Limits. All right, we got 36. Let's see what the let's go back here. Let's see what our takeoff data is going to be. And we're going 26 right. Recalc. Alright, so we have 42 on our select temperature / 36 is the current outside. Chuck, if you're there, I got a question for you regarding the temperature that showed up on the FMC, but we'll keep going. All right, takeoff. So flaps are calling for flaps 5. Center of gravity is going to be. We'll go back to our ProSim. We'll look at service. No, we're going to look at our weights. It looks like 120, 0 to 123, 131. Yeah, so that's 20.7 on the CG. And we go page 2. We don't really need anything there except 1,000 feet AGL on the acceleration height, and then thrust reduction at 1,500. Can also make that 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 all the way. And then we'll clear this out and go 143. SV2. Alright, and then let's go to departure 26, and what is that going to be? So this is calling for a completely different set of data. Winds 1703, 2989 is okay. V speeds are quite a bit different. I don't know why that is. I tend to want to lean with what SimBrief is, with what the system is calculating, but I've never seen these correlate. So the SimBrief takeoff performance data is coming at 141, 143, 150, and I had quite a bit different data than that at 132, 134, 140. So we'll just go with it. And that's good. Okay, so let's close this. Departure. Radar 2 silver, so we'll go 26, radar 2 silver, execute. Arrival into Ontario is going to be ILS 26 right. And that's the Jackie with the Fila. Jackie 2, Fila transition, execute. Alright, now from here what I do is go to the last page on the legs and start working backwards, clearing discos. So we're going to Z-blue, and we'll get that out. We'll leave the vector in. There's Fila. Execute that. Keep going. Everything looks good. Okay, so we're good. Alright, so we're going to return this back to our takeoff limits, and we'll leave this on legs page. And we're good there. So fuel quantities, or engine oil quantities look good at 18. Trim needs to be at 522. There's a display showing up here, which I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't see because I don't have. That's another display that would be nice to have. Would be the upper and lower DUs, but sorry, I can't give you a better shot of that. So continuing on with our flows. CDUs are set. Flap levers, verified position is down. Parking brake is set. Wheel well fire warnings, we checked that. Exterior lights are steady. That's good. Fuel's been loaded, so no smoking signs. Parking brake, fasten seat belt sign is on. Cabin utility and seat lights or powers on. Flight deck access door ineffective. Exterior inspections going through. Flight deck preparation continued. Instruments check. Oil quantity is checked at 18. Hydraulic pressure. Hydraulics. We got 196, so we're good there. All right, autopilot indicator test panel. That's good. Test FO and the captains. That's just the autopilot enunciator panel. Display panels. We'll go through this from top to bottom. So flight controls, standby instrument, spoilers, alternate flaps are all armed and guarded. Yaw damper is on. Navigation is normal. That's set. Displays are auto and normal. Fuel cross feed valve is open and it actuated correctly. We'll go ahead and put all of our fuel on since we're going to be starting here shortly. Coming back up, I'm going to put the APU on, so as we start, I'll know that we have power. Battery switch is obviously on. Cabin utilities and passenger seats are armed. Standby power is guarded. Ground power is still on. We're going to go ahead and start the APU. And once we get a green light, we'll let it run for 2 minutes before we shift it on. APU bleed is off. Let's see, lights are all off here. Wipers are parked. Of course, we checked that before we got started. Let me back up here a little bit. Leading edge devices are good. Engine reversers are off. ECCs are on and guarded. Crew oxygen is 15 plus. Flight recorder test is good. Mach 1. Mach 2 is good. Stall warning 1. That's good. And stall warning 2. That's good. Let's see. Double check something here. And hydraulics, we're going to leave the A's off, B's on. PSEU is good. It's off. And then going over to the right, we're going to go with our window heats. Probe heats are on auto. Overheat check. Good. Recycle window heats. That's good. Engine anti-ice is off. Wing anti-ice is off. Voice recorder test. Flight altitude set to 28. And landing altitude is, let's see what we got here. Elevation 944. 950 is good. Wing body overheat test is good. And AC is looking good. Our recircs fans are in auto. Packs are in auto. Engine bleeds are on. We have APU, so we're going to go ahead and put that on the bus and start our chrono. Get 3 minutes and we should be good. Everything else looks good. All right. Crew oxygen test is good. Transponder is set to TA or standby at the moment. But I'm going to set it to 2000. I need to file my flight plan too for, let's see, let's go here. So I can do that right inside of SimBrief. So we'll pre-file that sim pre-file and it'll log me in. Hey Mike Swanik, good to see you there, buddy. Choose to make sure they match for the following: dry operating weight, max zero fuel weight, max takeoff weight. They may be while you see different. Check my entries. Well, what I'm doing is I'm not doing them manually. I'm bringing them in from SimBrief through the ProSim load-in feature. So I know when Tim and I were flying when he was here, we never did get a match on those. I mean, I guess I could override them. So would you believe the data that's coming from, well, first, I'm assuming the data that's being imported is coming from SimBrief, but yet the data that I see on SimBrief isn't reflected here. So where is this calculation coming from? That's what's throwing me off. It's like, where's the data from the FMC coming from if it's not coming from SimBrief? And if it were coming from SimBrief, I would think they would match. So that's a little confusing, but I appreciate your input. Jim? You mean Scott? Looking good, Jim. Let's see. Okay. So let's go ahead and file. So we have 714, IFR 738, Las Vegas to Ontario. 1710, we need to bust a move if we're going to get out of here on time, and we're going to file it. Okay, so flight plan is filed, and we can go back here to SimBrief. It hasn't created a problem thus far, is about all I can say, but I would like to understand that a little bit better. Okay, so that looks like we're all good there. All right, so the next bit of data, I'm checking my panel DUs. That's normal. N1's speed rep, excuse me, those are set to auto. We have 3 minutes on the chrono, so we're going to put our APU on. We'll reset the chrono. And any brake is, auto brake's going to be set to RTO, and we're going to do a lights test. All lit, bright and shiny. That's all good, all good. All right, lights test looks good. Before start, originating checklist, logbook, yep, we've got that. We did the 3 pins, we did the fire warning, overheat, start levers are in cutoff, confirmed, and we did a lights check. So, and I am boarding, so let's get a pushback here. Come on, there you are. I just updated GSX. I'm hoping maybe that's going to work a little bit better. Prepare for pushback. Alright, so we're going, this departure is going to be on 26 right, which I believe is 259. And I like to double check. Alright, so I'm going to go flight director on. That's good. Okay, so VNAV, LNAV looks good. 259, 259. Don't really need this, but we'll go ahead and set the FO as well. 259. I've flown out of Vegas so many times, I should have this all. Gonna check our flight plan. That looks good. Legs, step, 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 Jackie. Yep, we have one disco over there, so reference limit. take off. That's good. Put that back on. I'm going to zoom into 5. Here comes our tug. So the MCP is set. We'll put our auto throttle on when we get ready to go. Okay, that's all looking good so far. So I was explaining to my son, who I had the wonderful privilege of flying with here a couple weeks ago. He came in and put our flaps on 5 here since we have B hydraulics on. How to adjust your seat and your height. And so what my good friend Chuck has taught me was being able to see straight down over the edge of the yoke and have a clear view of the PFD. And then, of course, whatever you need to do, you can adjust your pedals accordingly so that you have adequate brake pressure. So let's see, where do we want to come on? Face northeast on the ramp. No, I don't want to face. Let's see, face east. I don't even know where I am. Let's see, I don't want to go northeast on the ramp. Let's face east on the green line. That should be interesting. Okay, start the chrono for pushback. Alright, so notify the flight attendants. And we are going to go packs off, anti-collision lights on, start number 2. And I have no sound. That's wonderful. That's not good. What happened to our sound? Let's try. We did have an update, so we'll wait till we stop here and then I'll double check and make sure that Microsoft is set up correctly, because that more than likely could be what it is. Alright, waiting for good start on number 1. Alright, there's number 1. I'm looking for my red line to clear, making sure we're not going to get a hot start. And it's coming down, so that should be clear. Alright, so we're good there. Let's start number 2. And 2 coming up. And we're looking for 26. Yeah, so am I. Alright, there's 26. To me, a good engine start would be one with sound. Alright, so Alright, let's see. Hopefully this is off, and this is why we're not getting the sound. Main is 3. Why would we not have any sound? Let's try and see what that's going to do. There we go. No. Not really sure we got sound. And I hope she didn't lock up. not getting it clear on the a good engine start on number 1. Let's check something here. There are no failures. Let's see something here. I tell you, it's always something when you haven't flown in a while and you get multiple updates. Let's see, this was on Dante 3.4. Yeah, I'm still getting the red tag on and I haven't. So we're going to turn that off. We're going to go collisions on. That's good. Lights are good. Taxi and turn off. Let's go. Generators on. Packs on. Hydraulics on. All the fuel is on. Bleed. APU off. And probes are on. Alright, so flaps are 5, we're going to taxi. Yeah, the sound is super weak. So let's see, click here and go cameras, captain. That adjusts the view a little bit. I don't know how it's going to affect the view from you guys on that center screen, but it helps me since the parallax effect kicks in. Alright, so we're going to go transponder on, but not TARA yet. Alright, so before push, zero freeway check, flap sets, trim stab set, cleanup altitudes all check. Let's see. Yeah, flight controls checked. We are going to stop here on 1 just briefly before we enter. Just to double check, cross check and verify, make sure nobody's up here. OBS. Alright, so we got a 4641 on the squawk. 41, and I need to turn the volume down on this monitor back here, so if you'll excuse me for a brief second. Okay, that's better. I'll get that noise out. Alright, so we're going to turn that display off. We only have Salt Lake City up, so let's go. We are at Vegas. And flights, Las Vegas. Taxi. 26 right, 119.9. Las Vegas traffic. American 714 taxiing via Charlie at spot 1 to 26 right, Las Vegas traffic. Yeah, I'm hearing no sound at all. That's interesting. Guess I was hearing it through that. Not hearing any in the cockpit. That's not good. I'll send him a message here shortly. The hot start flag, red flag, did clear out. You're going too fast there, boss. Let's try that. Seems like it was. The last time that I did that, seemed like the general sound main output was coming from whatever the default was. Let's see if that makes any difference. No, still don't have any sound. The only thing that we did was adjust, or set up rather, the oxygen mask mics to work. I don't know why anything would have been adjusted with the output of the system. Just goes to show you always want to test everything when any changes are made. Don't just check one thing. We did check we did check VATSIM to make sure that was working. That was fine. So if you may be hearing you may be hearing a little bit of sound, but I'm not hearing anything on the engine. So fortunately, don't really need them to fly. But Las Vegas traffic, American 714 departing runway 26 right, radar 2, Las Vegas traffic. Okay, so let's start our chrono. We're going to put our auto throttle on. Lights on, taxiways off, and we're going to spool up to 40%. Let it stop. That's good. Toga. Here we go. And we're going to go ahead and set this to 28, even though we have a speed altitude restriction. All right, flap set at 5. Airspeed alive. 60 knots. 80 knots. transition to rudder pedal steering, getting some good vibration, so that's working. And V1 rotate. Alright, positive rate, gear up, auto brakes off. Alright, so we're just a few minutes late on the departure. It's not too bad. Alright, flaps 1. Landing gear off. Tell you, sure is nice flying with somebody with a second pilot that you can share the workload. Just makes it so much more realistic. Alright, flaps up. And we're gonna go nav, LNAV. And fly the flight director. Flaps are up. Confirmed on the gauge. And if you follow the, if you fly the tracer as far as the amount of turn, you can stay pretty much spot on the magenta line. You're trying to fly it precisely. Now we should get us altitude restriction at.
Regular traffic, Virgin 86 X-ray, have you taken off from runway 26 right?
So let's see, it cells. We're going to just go ahead and do altitude restriction. We're going to clear that altitude restriction. And we're going to turn over and get back on board here. This is good. Good. Las Vegas traffic, American 714, radar 2 at cells, last call. Las Vegas traffic. All right, so that's looking good. We're coming to 9,000 feet. 247 knots at cells, and we're going to go command and let her take over and fly for us. We're going to switch this over to legs, this to the FO to progress, and let's see, climb pressurization check. We're climbing at 600 feet per minute, and we have a differential of about 2.7, and we're showing 3,500 feet. And APU switch is off, bleeds are off. And we're looking good. We'll turn the lights off because we just cleared 10,000. And looking good. All right, so what was the nature of this flight? What was the purpose of this flight? We have a very nice gift that was sent to us by the wonderful folks at Flight Simulation Center in the tune of oxygen mask. Now, I can demo them for you just to show you they work. But let me get over here. Unfortunately, I can't talk to ATC because we don't have one. 122.8. Alright. Let's see. SID. Route. We don't have any. That's interesting. Oh. How about we do this? Upload. Import, SimBrief, Ontario, there we go. Alright, so Ontario, we are going to be coming in via the Jackie, and the approach is going to be 26 right. Going to mark that one, and we're going to go ahead and put the airport data on there. Going to tag that one, put that in there. So the Jackie 2 . Fila above 24,000, so we should be fine. Let's go ahead and bug up. So what we have here, gentlemen, ladies, is we have some oxygen mask. And they look good. They feel good. So the basic premise of how this is going to work is I can put my speaker on, and if I need these,
so here we go. So you should be able to hear me, I'm hoping. If you can't, then let me know. So that's pretty much the gist of that. And you can adjust them, obviously, adjust the tightness of them. But if we experience a cabin depressurization, smoke in the cabin, that sort of thing, I can resort to these to communicate with ATC. And so we'll do a quick test and just 122.8. And Las Vegas traffic. American 714 at the radar, climbing flight level 190 for 280. American 714. So that's about the extent of what I can check for this right now, just to show you how they're working. But pretty nice little units. Got one for the FO side, and of course this one here. And none of the components work. It's just got a working mic in it, and then I still have the oxygen test here on this side, so that works out pretty well. So anyway, that's the oxygen mask. Wouldn't want to have to wear these all day, that's for sure.
now the way they're set up to work, if you're familiar with the audio panel on the 737, there's a couple things that, there's one element that does work. There's an RT and IC intercom and RT mic, transmit, receive. When you're in the cockpit flying with someone else on these headsets, I mean, obviously we can hear each other. But if it got really loud, you can hold the RT forward and we actually can hear each other in our headsets talking to one another. Now, to the right of that is a mask boom switch. And both sides, the FO and the captain, have this boom mask switch. The way I understand it's supposed to work is you switch it to the mask if you're communicating on the via the mask, and vice versa for the boom. But through however it's set up, and some cockpits have more functionality, others have less. It just depends on what your setup is. In this one, in case, as the way it's set up is both of the mics are run to the Nook audio PC that's in the MIP, and then the mask also are run to via USB and a cabling into a port on that same Nook, and then via the ProSim audio it's set up. So essentially all the mics are hot all the time, but maybe the fact that the mics and the oxygen mask are not that sensitive, you don't get any feedback, as with the one on these are noise canceling Telex headsets, so they're not super sensitive. You pretty much got to talk right into them for them to pick up any audio, so that's a good thing. So that's how they've got it working. So the mask boom switch on the audio panel has no effect, although the RTIC does work. So the intercom button and the receive transmit button does work. So really pretty neat little functionality. The other thing that I did since we streamed last was, for those of you that were familiar with the build, I had these extra panels. If you look at a lot of these cockpit panels, these the foot air switch and the windshield air switch and the vent here doesn't even exist. It's not even part of the cockpit. There was a third-party manufacturer that was producing these when I was building this or having it built, and so I purchased 2 of them. So the vent is fake. The vent just looks like a vent. It doesn't do anything. But both of these switches are electrical switches. So I asked FSC, and they graciously accommodated me by wiring one of these up and then running the wires back here behind the side panel where the vents are, and then I later put in fans. So now I can pull that foot air and get a nice breeze coming in here on both sides, and that's a real nice touch. So that's something I've added since I saw you guys last, and I do need to put the cover on the back of this thing because I'm getting a lot of light coming in from the screen. But otherwise, yeah, the fan makes a big difference. Even though it's 72 degrees in this room with these screens, it puts out quite a bit of warmth. So having a little bit of air is really nice. All right, so we're at cruise. So we're going to get ready for our descent because it's not too far. Top of descent is only in about 10 miles. So that's why I pulled this up. So the bottom of the descent into Ontario is 6,000 is the lowest that we can go. We know that the field elevation is 940. So I'm going to set this, LNAV, VNAV is set, so I'm going to set my altitude to 6,000, so it'll start at, okay, that wasn't working earlier, so that's good now, I'm glad of that. Flight attendants, we're just about at top of drop here, and so I would ask you please to be seated and prepare the cabin for arrival. Everything else looks fine. Clear's not a cloud in the sky. Well, yeah, there's a moon. See the moon over there. Otherwise, nothing. So let's see. We have no ATC. So let's go over here and look at what Ontario is reporting. I use this little website, E6BX. It's good for, there we go, so we just started our descent. That was quick. So Ontario is reporting variable winds at 3 knots, 6 miles visibility and haze. Sky's clear, 22, and temperature's 22, dew point 16, the altimeter's 297. 297, and that's checked. So let's go over here to our init ref. We're going to put 30 as our flap settings on our approach, and ILS 26 right, course is 258, and the ILS frequency is 109.7. So I'm going to switch this here, 109, nope, correction, 109.7, flip it. 10970 on 2, so we've got them both set, so that looks good. And we can go over to ProSim, not ProSim, we can go over to SimBrief and take a look at our landing data. Flaps 30, 2907, 26 right, that looks all good. And we can calculate this, so let's see what it's suggesting. 944 elevations confirmed. Flaps 30 confirmed. Approach speed is 144. Flaps 30 auto brake 1. So that's good. Let's see, actual landing distance is 8,200 feet. Factored landing distance is 10,360, 36, excuse me, 10,336, factor distance margin 1861. Let's see, what else do we want to look at here? That's good. Let's close that. So I'm just having a good time here, guys. I see there are a couple of people. Well, there's at least two. Mike, you may still be here. I'm not sure. So let's see. Let's see. Lawson, John Boy, Jackie. Yeah, we're still outside of this. So there we go. Just popped in. I like this approach because, as you can see on the lower left, you can see the mountain range on the horizon. Well, what's cool about Ontario when you're coming in is you come in like a few thousand feet above that mountain range, and it just adds. It's a neat effect for people that don't fly often, and especially in the sim, that get a chance to experience, you know, how realistic the scenery looks in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I mean, it's just phenomenal. It really is. They've done an outstanding job with it. All right, let me send a message to Alessandro and let him know that I have no audio. All right, so hopefully he'll come back with some suggestion on what to check. The only thing that we did was to add a couple of settings in ProSim for the oxygen masks, but as far as I could tell, I couldn't see everything that he was doing, so I'm not sure what else might have been changed, but as far as I know, that's it. All right, so there's 18,000, 2997, 2997. 2997 times 3, so we're good there, descending out of 18,000. So Ontario traffic, American 714 descending flight level 17,000 for 6,000 on the Jackie 2 into Ontario for 26 right. American 714. Okay, so we've got that set. Let's look what our minimums are, even though it's clear, but we should set them. It's like 2 on the ILS 200. And I set the reason I go to the radio or radar altimeter is for whatever reason, ProSim is really slow on this setting. And if I were to set it to Barrow, and set it to 1132, which is what it should be, I would be here all day waiting for this thing to tick by because there's no way to adjust it. So I just put on a radio instead of Barrow because Barrow would be, yeah, it increments or decrements in 10 digits at a time. So it would take probably, at this rate, probably a minute just to 1,300 feet, so it's like just put it on Barrow, our radio. All right, so we're on profile. That's all looking good. Fuel's estimated to be at 4,200 pounds when we reach Ontario, and you can see as we're descending what I'm talking about. We're going to turn left here in a little bit and get actually a little closer. It's going to be pretty cool. Let's go ahead and put the Jackie 2 back up here so you can see where we are. You can see how it's going to come down to high no and then turn to 196, and we'll be grazing over the mountains there. So the other thing I'm doing is I'm running auto FPS, and if anyone knows, I haven't been able to update auto FPS past 4.5, I think it is. It seems to work fine. I mean, it's smooth as butter, thanks to Xavier. With a friend of mine I met met over the air and also met at Flight Sim Expo. Xavier Pullman. He's with oh shoot, what's the name of his company? They do flight sim motion platforms. Motion for flight sim. Sorry about that, Xavier. Motion for flight sim. Some really high-end motion platforms. I'd love to have one. I just don't have the elevation in this room to do that. Anyway, he had the idea to get away from DX12 because DirectX 12 and FrameGen with Microsoft Flight Simulator only affects or has an effect on one screen. So running multiple screens doesn't do anything for you. So he had the idea of just going back to DX11. We don't use any of the FrameGen data and just go to the basic settings, and he's dialed it in to where with now I'm running these on 2K. So what is it, 2560 by 1440, even though they're 4K screens. And I mean, I don't think the eye could tell the difference in the quality of the resolution. I mean, I can see the trees just fine. I don't think you or I could really tell the difference between 4K and the 2K that's here, but it has a big impact on the quality and the frame rates. I've got it set at 30 FPS. I don't really know what it is right now and don't care because it's smooth as butter, as you can tell. And even coming into LA, might get a little bump every now and then on LA depending on what's going on there on VATSIM, but for the most part, it's really neat. Okay, so let's get back on course here. So we're 1 to 2 miles from Rumble, and we're going to be continue down this heading until we get off of this vector straight to Z Blue. So what I'm going to do here shortly is just clear this since we don't have ATC, and that's going to turn me straight to Z Blue, and we're good. And we'll put back on LNAV and we'll start our turn to the right, as you can see. And we're a little bit off profile, but we're coming back in, so that's good. And a little speed check here. And you can see how pretty it is coming into this area. It's really neat. Landing lights on. That's good. We'll put our engines on continuous. But you can see, I mean, I don't know who owns this place up here, but there's a tennis court, big pool. It looks like some kind of business operation going on, but that's neat. All right, so descents are set, VREFs are set, auto brakes set to 1, recall, check, approach. We've already set altimeters. Our packs are set to auto. Start switches are on continuous, and that's confirmed. And we're back on profile, so that's good. And we'll take our speed brake and put that back on armed. Yeah, so we'll be coming in here at EDSO at 3,000. So we're going to bring this down to 3. Now normally we come right over this airport. We go outbound a little bit more and then come straight in here when we're going into LA. So we're coming in a bit higher on that obviously, but this is a pretty neat approach. So you can see kind of dropping into the San Bernardino Valley, I guess. I assume that's what you would call this. All right, so we're about 300 feet out of profile, but it's coming in pretty quick. And we're gonna go flaps 1. All right, where's my mouse? Come on, mouse, work. Good grief. There's the haze. All right, we're going to put our approach on, arm the approach, 190. Flaps 2. We turn into EDSO and I'll go gear down. I see the runway here. There we go, single channel connect, flaps 5. Speed 180 below, so we're good. There's your runways, 26 left and right. All right, flaps 15, gear down. All right, so he's asking me if Microsoft Audio's volumes, the Dante route between the visual PC and the streaming PC and the OBS scene, do you have your engine sounds on the Bose system? I haven't changed anything, so why would they change? I don't know, but that's sometimes how it goes. All right, so let's get our speed down to our reference. That's good. We're going to go flaps 30 because we are 2.5 miles out. Speed brake is set, gear down, 3 greens confirmed. Auto brake set to 1, 30 indicated, 1,000 feet. $800 feet. Not indicating any wind. All right, 600 feet, 590, 580, 60, 40, 30, 20. My airplane. Oh, shoot. There we go. Just lost the controls. Come on, come back around. No controls. Maybe.
Sync rate.
At least we got a little bit of runway, but man, not being able to hear anything is really unnerving. There we go. Lost the controls there for a second and had to resync.
30, 20, 10.
There's 10. Alright. That was a little unnerving. Whew. Alright. Ontario traffic, American 714, exiting 26 right at Foxtrot. Ontario traffic. All right. Well, welcome to Ontario, California, everyone. Yeah, I've had a couple of situations like that where it's, for whatever reason, and that may be because of the recent updates from Microsoft Flight Simulator, I need to go through and double check all of the USB, some those USB ports that will go to sleep. It's like, really? Why do you do that? So we are going to park ourselves right over here and call it a flight. Alright, so we're going to park that here and we're going to get our ground power hooked up. Ground power hooked up and engines off. Flaps up. Parking brake set, start levers in cutoff, fuel pumps. We don't need the APU, so that's good. Window heats off and probes are in auto. Anti-ice was never used. Hydraulics. I'm going to put that off and let's see. Position. No. All right. Forward entry doors. We'll open those. Start switches are off. Oil quantity is confirmed. Hydraulics are okay. Engine quantity is good. 18%, 18 quarts, I guess. Radar. Transponders off. Radar switches off. Yeah, weather is off. Transponder standby. Okay, so we got a lot of practicing to do with the new procedures. That's not them, and it's one of those things where we have to practice between the two of us on how we want to do that. But it'll get there. I'm looking forward to World Flight for sure, and I'll get some more flights in once we get all these little nuances dialed in. So I'm going to call it there as the stream, but I may leave this thing running so I can check this audio because I may want to fire up the system again. So thanks for flying with us today, guys.